All right, so as we get into analyzing our existing ground surface, the first thing we want to look at is the slopes on this surface. So what we need to do is create a slope surface analysis. Now, the process I'm going to show you uses the data references. It's going to save us a lot of editing and trimming and cutting and joining the contour lines to get the data we need to perform this slope analysis. So we don't need the original ground surface drawing anymore. We don't need it open. We still want to keep it, so don't delete it. But we're just going to click on the X up here on the tab, and we'll go ahead and close this drawing down. It'll ask you to save it if you need to. Go ahead and save it. Yes, save any changes. And then we're going to go new, and again, we're just going to use that standard AutoCAD NWT template. So now that we have a new drawing, what we want to do is first we want to bring in the property boundary. So in the data that you have, you should have a property boundary drawing. So from the Analyze the Surface folder, we're going to left click on that property boundary drawing and bring it into our current drawing. You may get this message. If you do, just go ahead and click on Ignore. That's going to ignore any shape files we don't have. It's going to ask us for an insertion point. We're going to put in 0, 0. We're going to press enter, 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 enter. So we're going to press enter about three times, well, 4 times in total. And then you can do a zoom extents, either double click your wheel, or if you type in ZE and press the enter key, it'll zoom extents and it brings us to our property boundary. Now, this property boundary right now is a block. So what we want to do is we want to type in X on the command line, or just type in X, press enter, and it will explode the object. The next thing we need to do is to create this object as a boundary. You can see right now it's not a closed polygon, and we need to close it. Simplest way to do that is to go to Layer Isolate, pick on one of the line segments, and that will turn off the text. And then what you can do is type in BO for boundary and press enter. It's going to use this pick point option, and we'll just click on pick points. We'll pick an internal point. You can see that it highlights the objects. We'll press enter, and that has created a boundary around our object. So now what we can do is unisolate. You'll see that it has that boundary, and you don't need to do this, but I'm just going to drag and stretch this, and you can see that the other line is still there. Okay, so I'm going to undo, Control Z, and keep that boundary. Now you can go ahead and clean out just by, like, if you wanted to, because it is a boundary, you could do something like this window. It'll select everything but the boundary, and so as you can see, we still have that boundary. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to create a reference. We're going to bring in that surface that we created. So if we extracted in that drawing, then we would get everything that was in that drawing. We get the lines and the surface objects. We only want the contours here. So we're going to go over to our data shortcuts on our prospector tab, and you can expand down to where it says original ground. If you right click on that, you can click create reference. You can leave all this the way it is, that's fine. You can keep the style 2 and 10, the original ground name. We're just going to click OK, because we're only going to use this as a temporary file. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to select that surface object, right click, and go to surface properties. And on the surface style, where it says 2 and 10, I'm going to click this edit icon, and that will let us edit the style. We want to go to the display tab, and we're going to turn off the minor contours. So all the 2-foot interval contours we're going to turn off. We're going to leave on the major contours. Also turn off the boundary or the border. We don't need that. We just want the major contours. Click OK, apply or OK. And now you can see we're left with just the 10-foot contours. Now if I pick that surface, I can go up to extract from surface on the menu tab that shows up, the surface data reference option. We'll click extract from surface. We'll extract objects. We're only going to bring the major contours and we will click OK. Now, what that did was it brought the contour lines over from that surface that we created the reference of. Now, if we go to our prospector under surface, that original ground shortcut surface that we have here, you can tell it's a shortcut by this icon, we don't need. So we're just going to delete it, pressing the delete key, or right click and select delete. You will get the, do you wish to delete the original ground one? Yes, we do. But we're left with the contours. Okay. We want to use those contours to create the surface analysis for our project. And I'm going to show you how to do that in the next video.